When it comes to extreme coasters, Knott's Berry Farm is often overshadowed by Six Flags Magic Mountain, which is around an hour and a half away. Not to mention that it's around 10 minutes away from Disneyland. However, they have some world-class coasters, and if you're a thrill seeker in the area, Knott's is a must-visit. Today, I'll be counting down Knott's Berry Farm's 10 best roller coasters. So let's get straight into it. Timberline Twister is a small kiddie coaster that I've never ridden, so I don't have much to say about it. Moving on. Number 9, Pony Express, a steeplechase-style family launch coaster. The launch isn't forceful, and it's not supposed to be, and I understand that because it's made for families. And when I was younger, I really enjoyed this coaster. But my goodness, it is a short ride, maybe around 30 seconds. While I think the ride is good for what it is, its length prevents me from placing it higher on this list. Number 8 is the Zero Family Coaster Jaguar. This coaster I used to really love when I was younger, and it's a super long ride. However, nowadays it just seems to meander around its course and really not do much. I really don't have any other problems with Jaguar. It's a super smooth ride, and the trains are very comfortable. It also gives you a nice view of the park. Be warned though, Jaguar can get some really long lines. So if you're an enthusiast looking to get the credit, make sure you hit this coaster early in the day. Number 7 is the Mack Wild Mouse Coast Rider. Honestly, I don't see the problem with this ride. It bothers so many enthusiasts because of its shin guards. Maybe it's because I'm smaller, and also I haven't ridden this coaster in around 2 years, but they never really bothered me. Yes, this is a wild mouse with those traditional hairpin turns, but this one starts off with a surprisingly forceful drop with some good ejector airtime. This name does bother me though. Coast Rider. It sounds a lot like Ghost Rider, doesn't it? A coaster of this caliber doesn't deserve that name. Coming in 6th place is the Mock Spinner Sierra Sidewinder. Yes, this is another family coaster, but it's probably one of the best out there. It's surprisingly intense, and the helix after the first drop feels like you're going to smash your face on the concrete below. It's also one of the only true spinning coasters in California, so it gives a unique and disorientating ride experience. Number 5 is the unique B&M invert Silver Bullet. I think we can all agree that the best part of a B&M invert is the first drop and the whip over the inversions. Unfortunately, Silver Bullet has one of the worst first drops on frankly any coaster. It's so shallow and it feels more like a ramp to gain speed. I understand they did this because of space limitations, but still, it's frustrating. Second of all, it has very weak whip over the inversions. I'm not really sure why this is. Maybe they're more drawn out. I do have to commend Silver Bullet though for its incredible intensity. The final double helix over the lake is truly one of the most intense moments on any roller coaster. Number 4 is the Schwarzkopf Shuttle Loop Montezuma's Revenge. It's one of the only types of its coaster left in the world, and it's super unique. The layout starts by launching you forward at 55 miles per hour, which is pretty forceful. At this point, you enter one of those circular vertical loops, which is sure to make you gray out. At this point, you rise up a spike over 140 feet in the air. Now you fall backwards down the spike and into the vertical loop, but facing backwards, which is super unique. Then you fly backwards through the station and up another 140-foot spike. My favorite row for this coaster is the back, purely for the last spike. You just get yanked up there, and you can see almost the entire park. Not to mention, Montezuma's Revenge is very smooth and only has a skinny lap bar holding you in. Obviously, this coaster can't place any higher on this list due to the simplicity of its layout, but I still think it's really great for what it is, and a truly underrated roller coaster. You have to ride the back row on this coaster just for that back spike. It's really incredible. Taking the bronze is the new for 2018 Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster Hang Time. In my opinion, the best part of the ride is the lift hill. You may be asking, how the lift hill? Well, it's a vertical lift hill, which means you're facing straight up. It honestly feels beyond vertical and like you're going to slip out of your seat. And thankfully, Gerstlauer only put lap bars on this coaster. But in my opinion, this creates the biggest problem in the ride. The lap bars come down severely hard and staple you during the coaster. Towards the end, this can actually start to be really painful. But during the ride experience, it prevents you from getting, well, the maximum hang time. Also, the first drop is sort of disappointing. I still think it's really good, and it's beyond vertical. So if you're sitting in the back row, you really do get whipped over with some great ejector airtime. While this drop is 150 feet, it certainly doesn't feel like it, because the massive holding brake takes up about half that. It also kills any momentum you would have gotten by cresting over the lift hill. The only good thing about this drop is that when you're sitting in the front row, you can just stare over the 95-degree drop. The rest of the ride is forceful and smooth and provides some great hang time. Number 2 is the Intamin Accelerator. I still think this is one of the most underrated coasters out there, and it's probably the 5th time I've talked about this coaster on this channel. And that's because it's an awesome ride. The launch is one of the most forceful launches on any coaster. You hit 82 miles per hour in under 3 seconds, and this features only the skinny Intamin T-bar lap bars. Sitting in the front row during this launch is a surreal experience, and they know that. They have 2 separate lines, one for the front row and one for the rest of the train. Be warned, the line for the front row, while worth it, moves crazy slow. After the first launch, you rise up a 205-foot vertical top hat, which will provide a great pop of airtime over the crest. After this, you hit a great drop. I really like this one because it doesn't twist like King to Cause or Top Thrill dragsters. You just feel the full force of the drop. Then you enter the figure 8 style layout with 2 fully overbanked turns. You are sure to gray out, and it's a great display of speed. The only flaw of this coaster is that it's a short ride. But hey, look at other rides of this type. I'm a big fan of Accelerator, and it's a must ride if you visit Knott's Berry Farm. Taking the gold in first place is the CCI turned GCI wooden coaster Ghost Rider. This is an ultra elite coaster and probably one of the best coasters in the state of California. This is one of the best coaster layouts out there, full of floater and ejector airtime and lateral forces. After the first drop, when sitting in the back row, you get amazing ejector airtime. You enter a floater camelback and into a large turnaround. If you're sitting towards the rear, you'll also get a great pop of ejector when just sitting in the turnaround. After the turnaround, you enter a part where you just fly through the structure, and Ghost Rider showcases its speed. After this, you enter a long, slow turnaround where the mid-course brake run used to be. If you're sitting in the back row, the drop after the mid-course turnaround is one of the greatest ejector airtime moments on any coaster. After this, you proceed to fly through the structure with great speed and pops of airtime. To finish off the ride, Ghost Rider goes through a full 360 unbanked helix, which provides awesome lateral forces. Not to mention, Ghost Rider has those GCI Millennium Flyer trains, which are perfect for getting maximum airtime. And after the recent retracking, Ghost Rider is glossy smooth and an extra long ride. Ghost Rider gives one of the truly most incredible night rides out of any coaster on the planet. Knott's Berry Farm can get really crowded, and I've had days where I can only ride one coaster. And if that is the case, Ghost Rider is the only choice. Even coaster enthusiasts who have traveled around the globe riding coasters can't forget their hometown hero. Thanks for watching. Have you been to Knott's Berry Farm? What's your favorite coaster there? Remember to comment and like and subscribe.